Good morning, Mid-Michigan. The recent jobs report, which was released on Friday, what does it mean for Michiganders? Of course, we go to our local expert, Jared Coseglia. He is here to unpack it all. And Jared, how are you? Good to see you.
Good to see you too, Don. Thanks for having me back.
Oh, yes, of course. Now, one thing for sure before we get to the jobs report, it appears that the great resignation continues. Maybe not as it did in its height back in November, but it continues across the nation.
Well, if the jobs report is accurate, then so is your statement about the great resignation. There's lots and lots of good news in the March jobs report. Not only did the U.S. employing market add 431,000 jobs last month, the numbers for the last 2 months were revised upwards by almost 100,000 jobs. That makes the unemployment rate now 3.6%. That's right on target for what economists were expecting. And it means that over the last 6 months, the average monthly job gain has been 600,000 per month. That's remarkable. We've recovered 93% of the 22 million jobs lost during the pandemic.
And where are people finding this work? In what sectors? Is hospitality still a sector where people are finding work and finding lots of it as we recover from the COVID pandemic?
Well, certainly, as we continue to lift COVID restrictions, it's bringing back business in bars and restaurants, hotels, travel, entertainment. The biggest gains in the March job report did come in the leisure and hospitality sectors, and over a quarter of the March gains came in these industries. But that sector is still down almost 1.5 million jobs from pre-pandemic, which suggests that there are still many businesses in leisure and hospitality that are struggling. So unless there's another large wave of COVID infection, we'll hopefully see those jobs in that sector continue to grow seasonally in the coming months.
So even though we've recovered 93% of the 22 million jobs that were lost during COVID, it appears that that remaining 7% or a large chunk of it may still be in the hospitality sector.
We should assume so, yes, based on the gap. Although there are still a lot of workers who have left the job market completely and not returned.
Yeah, and where are these workers going? Are they going into becoming business owners themselves, entrepreneurship, or are they just staying home? Where are these workers, where does the data say these workers are going?
It's a variety of different things. There's a huge population that is just not coming back to work and taking early retirement, but there's also a lot of mothers who've decided to stay at home and not return to the workforce, particularly in the teaching and education sectors. And that also is problematic as we continue to rebound from post-COVID economy.
And so for this latest jobs report, tell us, where does Michigan fit in all of this?
So Michigan's unemployment rate peaked at about 22.7% in April of 2020, and that has been trending about a point above the national unemployment rate. So Michigan is about 4.7, the U.S. is at 3.6. Though Michigan has not released its March numbers yet, we're confident they'll follow the national trend.
And tell us about some of the other trends that we are seeing. I see remote work is trending down. People are going back into the office, it appears.
Well, the first notable trend is that people working remotely because of the pandemic has dropped from 13 to 10%. It's a small drop, but it shows that there are some workers that are returning to office jobs. At True Staffing Partners, we're quite confident that working remotely from home some or all of the time is the new normal. We're still seeing north of 90% of job openings having some sort of remote component, but we're certainly headed into a period where we'll see many companies trying to force or incentivize workers to return to the office.
Jared.
More undeniably is the wage increase, Don. In March, it was up 0.4%. And the average hourly pay raise has increased by 5.6% since a year ago today. And now that we're nearing full employment, employers are going to need to pay more money to attract and keep top talent.
That's good news for workers. Jared Coseglia from True Staffing Partners, thanks so much for being here with us today. We affectionately call him Jared the Job Whisperer. Have a great day.
Always a pleasure. Thanks, Don.